All right, guys, welcome back to the Ev Singleton Show here on the More Guy Boston Sports channel, the second channel for Guy Boston Sports. Make sure you guys are subscribed, as this is the second channel. We have week number 1 of the NFL in the books, and we're going to do some reactionary stuff. We'll look at some stories, some headlines, some things that we deemed important, play some clips, and like I said, give our reaction. I'd like to call them gut reactions, but at the same time, some of the stuff that we'll talk about, like Jalen Carter and Dak Prescott, did happen like 4 or 5 days ago. So it's not really a gut reaction, right? We've had time to let it marinate, some new developments come out and all that. But like I said, guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know if you do like this type of content in the comments down below. And if you have any segment ideas or anything like that moving forward, let me know as well. Before we do get into it, I will say, we're going to open up the phone lines to people to leave voicemails for future weeks. So 773-340-3377 is a phone that we've now hooked up to be able to take some voicemails. So obviously not for week number 1. This is the video for week number 1, but come week number 2, and I'll remind you guys, make sure to go ahead and leave your reactions. We could talk about bad beats, some crazy stories that happened, anything like that. Go ahead and leave a voicemail. If you just want to say hi, make sure to do so. So again, 773-340-3377. Let's get into the first topic that we have here. It is Jalen Carter and Dak Prescott. If you live under a rock, you may not have seen that Thursday night, the season kickoff, we had a little bit of a spitting match. Now, it started with everyone thinking that Jalen Carter just went out there and spit on Dak Prescott, which is what we see here, right? When we play this clip, you can see Jalen Carter, they're talking smack, boom, he spits on his chest. Even the equipment guy walks over, he's like, what's going on? But lo and behold, and this came out shortly after, Dak Prescott actually spits first. You can see it right there, right? Spits first. Now Dak Prescott spit at his feet. Then Jalen Carter said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out there and spit on your chest. He gets ejected. That's obviously pretty stupid, right? But, you know, at the same time, I mean, Dak did do it first. So Jalen Carter, in a sense, was a little bit more warranted than we originally thought. Now, should anybody be out there being like, oh, I'm going to spit on someone's chest? No. What I want to talk about is his punishment here. And you can see here, this is on Athlon Sports. Mike Florio saying that it doesn't look like the NFL is going to be suspending Carter. They do say, yeah, right here, posted a potential fine of $57K. Imagine spitting and having to pay nearly $60,000 in fines. That makes sense to me, right? Like, I'm kind of on that exact same page in terms of what, like, the crime and fitting the punishment and all that hoopla. Like, Jalen Carter spit. He didn't punch Dak Prescott. He didn't do anything. There are some rumors that Dak Prescott had mentioned how, if you don't know Jalen Carter, I believe it was like drag racing or racing, driving at high speeds with one of his friends and in 2 different cars, and his friend died. People are thinking, or, you know, hypothesizing here, throwing out theoreticals, that Dak Prescott actually said, your boy died. Like that, you know, they read his lips, your boy died, and that's what set Jalen Carter off. One big thing that I want to say, Jalen Carter, obviously a young guy in this league, he regrets the spit. I like that he's just kind of owned it. He said some stuff, and he regrets spitting and all this, but like, I really like the fact that he didn't say, oh, he said something about my friend that died and all that. Jalen Carter just said, it's not going to happen again. I shouldn't have spit. He's playing the game pretty well, even if he did, to some degree, have something maybe a little justified, you know what I mean? Which, again, I don't necessarily think that it is fully justified, but if Dak Prescott's out there saying your boy died, I could see Jalen Carter kind of going and seeing red for a second, right? Especially coming off the adrenaline of the start of the season. Now, we're talking Eagles there. Let's just keep it in that ballpark for a second, because comes out, what, a day or so ago, that the Eagles actually were like that close to potentially landing Micah Parsons. They threw 2 first rounds, a third, and a 5, amongst other things, to Dallas. But at that time, Dallas didn't really want to trade Micah Parsons. This trade kind of came right down to the wire, and I think Dallas obviously didn't want to trade him in the division. That would make a lot of sense. Like, if Dallas trades him to the Eagles and Micah Parsons becomes a Dallas killer in the division, seeing him a couple times a year, I could see that being pretty damn tough. But can we imagine an Eagles team Now, I know their defense didn't look phenomenal in week 1, but it was week 1. They had injuries, obviously. Can you imagine Jalen Carter, Micah Parsons, names that I'm not even mentioning now, alongside one another? Like, this Eagles team, who is already deemed one of, if not the best team in the league, can you imagine them with Micah Parsons on their D-line on the edge? Oh my God, that would be incredible. So I guess Dallas, in a sense, well, you made the right decision trading him to Green Bay. Now, he did have a decent game in Green Bay, right? I think he had a couple pressures, a sack, got a little banged up, but I do believe, Green Bay's probably excited to have him there as obviously one of the better guys in the entire league. Now, next, I want to take a peek at Emeka Egbuka, who, damn, did he put the league on notice. Now, if you don't know who he is, rookie draft pick for the Bucks. Check this out, and I don't even know if we can show this, but you know what? We'll show it. Play music a little louder to hopefully avoid copyright here. We have now the Bucks are already in field goal territory, right? 1 minute left, 20-17. And you're thinking, oh my God, one timeout, what are we going to do, right? Look at this play that Baker and Egbuka dial up. Baker slings it in traffic, boom, Egbuka. Touchdown. Now, that isn't even fully the thing that I want to talk about. I want to talk a little bit about this. Obviously, that's a great play, crazy play. Good for him. This is what's nuts. Now, Mike Evans says this, so I'm thinking this is reliable, right? Uh-oh, we got some issues here. I'm thinking this is fairly reliable, but Mike Evans right here, right before he caught that last touchdown, he called it. Evans said of Egbuka. He wanted the post route. He said, I'm about to game one. We're in the huddle, and Egbuka said, we need to run this certain play, and I'm going to game the quarterback. He called his shot, and Mike Evans says, and I was like, maybe we just run it? Because again, if we talk about where they were, right? They were right here they were on the 25. They can tie this, go to overtime, and they're probably the better team. But no, Egbuka said, nah, let's do it. And then Mike Evans said he literally runs the post touchdown the next play. That's pretty damn cool. A rookie that had an unbelievable first game ends the game as well. His final stat line was, let's see if we have that up here. I believe we do. His final stat line ended up being, what do we got? Did I miss it? Yeah, 4 receptions, 67 yards, 2 tutties. 2 tutties. So shout out to him, pumping some crowd noise for Emeka Egbuka. Next sort of segment that we want to talk about, and I guess we can do this fairly quickly, is, I guess we titled Those Guys Stink. And a couple teams fall into this, a couple situations fall into this. I would say you have the Patriots, the Giants, the Dolphins, the Titans you could throw in, but they were going up against a really, really good defense. The Texans, I don't think are going to stink, but they only put up 9 points. Let's talk about the Dolphins first off. This was a squad that got beat 33-8. They lost to Daniel Jones in week number 1 here. Tua went for 14 of 23, 114 yards, 2 picks, just 1 touchdown. Achane, 7 carries, 55 yards. On the other side of things, Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, 22 of 29, 272 yards and a passing touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, 18 carries, 71 yards. Michael Pittman, 6 receptions, 80 yards, and a touchdown. They just mollywopped him, right? By a final score of, like I said, 33-8. The Dolphins, do they stink? And that's kind of the point of this segment. Is this just a mishap in week number 1 and an anomaly or anything like that? Do they stink? They might stink, guys. This Dolphins team might stink. We have them playing the Patriots next week, so we'll see who truly stinks, but this Dolphins team may stink. Patriots, on the other hand, another team that we could talk about here. They looked good after the first drive until, I would say, halftime. And then things just stalled the hell out. Geno Smith put up 362 on their head. Gentry did have a touchdown, 19 carries, only 38 yards, though. Brock Bowers, 5 for 103. He did get hurt. We'll talk about some of those notable injuries in the next segment here. But do the Patriots stink? I'm willing to, and I'm a Patriots fan, so I'm going to be a little bit biased here. I'm willing to give the Patriots a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here, just because they have an entirely new coaching staff, a new scheme, a second-year quarterback, and they did show flashes at times of looking really, really good. The Raiders, I mean, Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, Genti, a lot of new acquisitions on this squad. Yeah, maybe they just were all fired up and came in and played well. So I don't think, I'm going to say the Patriots don't stink. If they go and stink against the Dolphins, then I think we can revisit this next week. But I don't think the Patriots stink whatsoever. And maybe I am being a biased Patriots fan, but to me, there's still enough out there that we can kind of cling to and think that they have potential, right? Travion Henderson looked really, really good. The receivers, Booty looked pretty good. Hunter Henry to some degree. Drake May did look good at times as well. And obviously Vrabel, new head coach, at least for the Patriots, let's give him a little bit of a leash there. I know the people watching this that hate the Patriots because of what they did in the past are probably like, no, the Patriots stink, Ev. Stop being a biased Patriots fan. All right, let's move on to the next one. Giants, I think that's pretty easy. They got beat 21-6. I do think that they stink. I do. Same thing with the Panthers. Not much to say about that. The Titans, I think the Titans actually could be okay. Now, Cam Ward didn't look all that great, but he was going up against a good defense in Denver. So I'm going to say, much like the Patriots, the Titans do not stink. I think that they'll be a little bit better. We didn't really see, all that much, I guess, of Ridley or anything like that, right? So I do think that there's a chance that we see some more Titans action as the season progresses. They have the Rams coming up, then they play the Colts, the Texans, the Cardinals. Like, out of those teams, the Broncos were the hardest defense that they had seen, right? The last one I want to kind of mention here, and I kind of hate to do it because I think that this is so overblown, but, the Panthers I mentioned stinking. This seems to be the talk of the town for whatever reason, but this is during a timeout or something, and Bryce Young is looking up and playing the game that they do the 1, 2, 3 helmets and they kind of shift them all around. And people are all over him. He went viral for this, and, you got to find the football under the helmet. I think this is so overblown. Like, look at this is a 15-second clip. He's looking. When they flash back to him, it's only been 5 seconds. He's not even looking anymore, right? He looks back. Okay, fine. So 5 seconds. Now he looks back to see what the result is. We're all a little bit curious. And even when they flash right back to him, he's not looking anymore. So did he really, is that really the biggest of deals? Is that really the biggest of deals? No. The fact that people are tweeting about it and acting like that has any impact on his play is kind of ludicrous to me. I do think that, they go out there and get beat is a bad look, but maybe this Jacksonville team with new coach and Trevor Lawrence probably in the best situation yet, maybe that's kind of all they needed. I will say Teterower McMillan, I liked the look of him, especially in kind of the situation that they were in. All right, I want to go through a few injuries here just to keep everyone updated. No reaction or anything like that, but obviously want to make sure that, some of the notable injuries that we have are covered here. So Brock Bowers with a knee injury. I believe he is questionable heading into week number 2 as they do play this Chargers team. So we'll keep an eye on that. Michael Mayer obviously becomes very relevant if you are playing fantasy. George Kittle, it looks like he's going to be out for 4 to 5 weeks with a hamstring injury. He had a touchdown, 4 receptions. He looked okay, right? He had that tutty, but now is out. That's tough. They did end up pulling off the win. Juwan Jennings also goes down with his shoulder. I think that he is questionable, but yeah, he could barely lift his arm. That doesn't seem all that great, right? Drake London, wide receiver, the shoulder. He wasn't able to finish the game in the loss to the Bucks. He's considered day-to-day. So he finished the week with week 1 with 8 catches, 15 targets, 55 yards. Drake London is really, really filthy. We need to see if he's going to be healthy. That is a massive part of this Atlanta offense, obviously, right? But an Atlanta offense, I've already said, is going to be better than some people think. So that's going to be pretty damn massive here. Atlanta's also missing Darnell Mooney against the Bucks. If both receivers miss week 2, then obviously you're looking at some of these secondary receivers, even Bijan or Tyler Algier out of the backfield. Now, Puka leaves the game. Big helmet-on-helmet hit. He also was bleeding. He was not deemed to have a concussion, comes back in, and he finishes the game 10 catches, 11 targets, 130. I think he's okay, but again, you leave the game with a suspected head injury, it's obviously worth thinking about and considering. Now, Xavier Worthy here, we don't have a timetable of return. He dislocated his shoulder, but I don't think, and even this article saying it here, I don't think he's going to be playing week number 2. So now you have Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy out. I think Hollywood Brown, who got targeted heavily in week number 1, is going to really take a step up. You have Evan Engram, who also goes down, right? He left the week number 1 game. I forget when he left, but somewhat late in the game. Not exactly the biggest of news. I think that people are high on him for whatever reason this year. I'm not all that much, but obviously Troutman would be his kind of replacement there. So yeah, here we go. Brock Purdy, uncertain for week number 2. He hurt his foot or toe and shoulder, I guess. Johnson, Mixon, these are running backs. Will Shipley, Tajay Spears, he is still out. Tony Pollard will be a volume demon, I do think, for the next few weeks. Wide receivers, we have London, Worthy, Nakua, Mooney, Christian Kirk, Godwin, Ayuk, and then obviously we kind of talked about it. A bunch of these tight ends were out or left the game earlier. George Kittle's already ruled out. Isaiah likely missed week 1. I do wonder if he comes back for week 2. I'm not exactly sure what his injury is. All right, guys, the last segment I want to talk about, if you made it this far into the video, go ahead and comment 16 down below. Lets me know that you made it 16 minutes into the video. I want to discuss this Vikings comeback and what it means, because everybody in the first half seemed to be like, holy crap, this Ben Johnson offense, and Caleb Williams looks really, really good. I will say I did like the usage of DeAndre Swift. We bet on his over in rush attempts, and he absolutely smacked that, so we can take that to the, did I say DeAndre Smith? DeAndre Swift. We can take that to the bank. That's obviously very, very good. What I will say here is, and I think he had, 17 attempts, his line was 13.5. I'm getting too focused on my bet. The Vikings came back, but I also do think this was a little bit of the, not even a little bit, it's probably more than a little bit, of the Bears losing this game. Do you know what I mean? Like, as much as people are wanting to give JJ McCarthy credit, 13 of 20, 143, 2 touchdowns and an interception, I'll give him credit for the 2 touchdowns. He also ran one in, so good for him. But are we really going to sit there and act like JJ McCarthy was something spectacular? I think O'Connell was really the MVP of coaching that game and some of the late game decisions. But, you know, if we had our most, the least valuable player, the LVP, Caleb Williams, sailed balls that were easy completions. He missed wide open receivers like DJ Moore at the end of the game in a crucial time. So I can't sit here and give the Vikings, JJ McCarthy, or anyone on that squad too much credit without also saying, well, Caleb Williams absolutely, I guess pun intended, dropped the ball or missed through the ball. Like, this was a team that looked really good in the first half and it was lopsided. Come the second half, completely different team. That's why I give the coaches on the Viking side of things so much credit, right? O'Connell, Flores, like, they flipped this game on its head and they won the second half. I believe it was what? They won the fourth quarter. Forget the second half. They won the fourth quarter 21-7. 21-7. It was at one point 17-6. And, boom. So, again, I don't want to take too much away from JJ McCarthy, but I don't know if I'm sitting there as a Vikings fan being like, oh my God, let's go. I think if you're playing 80% of the league yesterday, there's a strong chance that you don't come back and you lose that one. Now, they play the Falcons, the Bengals, the Steelers in their next 3 games. That'll be a good test, right? Because the Falcons aren't the best defense, but they have a decent offense. And they play the Bengals, same exact thing. Then they play the Steelers, who at least from week 1's perspective look like a pretty damn good team, defensively and offensively at times. Obviously, the defense got torched, but still, a lot of good came out of that Steelers game. Mainly Aaron Rodgers. So we'll see. Jury, in my opinion, still very, very much out on JJ McCarthy. Again, just kind of due to the fact that I think the Bears lost that game more than he won it. But that's going to do it for the segments and the Week 1 recap and reaction, guys. Again, let me know your favorite moments of Week 1 down in the comments. I know I missed a ton, but I don't want this to be a 50-minute, hour-long video. More so looking for 15 to 25 minutes each and every week, which I anticipate we hit right on the head this week in week number 1, or looking back at week number 1. So, guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.